Hello, my name is Gary Hansen. I'm the president of Professional Insurance Strategies. We specialize in helping families like yours take the guesswork out of insurance. Today, let's talk about wedding insurance. Professional Insurance Strategies helps couples protect their wedding day, which can be a significant financial investment. Today, we will explain the ins and outs of wedding insurance and why you should add it to your wedding budget today. Wedding insurance protects the couple's investment from circumstances beyond their control and reimburses expenses incurred. It provides coverage for mishaps such as a venue closing, a vendor not showing up, extreme weather, damaged gifts, sickness, injury, and more. Optional liability and liquor liability coverage is always available to protect you and your interests from unfortunate situations such as a fall or damage to property at the event. We provide a wedding cancellation insurance and wedding liability insurance at all different levels so we can find you complete coverage at a reasonable price. Let's talk about cancellation or postponement coverage. This will provide coverage for certain deposits listed in the policy in the event of a necessary cancellation or postponement of the wedding. Here's a couple of examples of how cancellation or postponement coverage will come into play. If the venue suddenly goes out of business, or if there's a sudden illness in preventing the honorees, parents, grandparents, or children of the honorees from attending, then this coverage can reimburse you for lost deposits. COVID-19 unfortunately does not apply to this coverage. Next, let's talk about photographer and videographer coverage. This coverage will cover you if your photographer's film is defective or negatives are lost or damaged. Here's an example. If your photographer fails to show up or loses the negatives from your wedding, this coverage can reimburse you for the cost of reconvening your wedding party to take new photos or video. Next up is coverage for wedding gifts. Event gifts can provide coverage if your gifts are damaged or stolen. Here's an example. If your gifts are somehow damaged while on display at the reception, this coverage can reimburse you for repair or replacement cost. Special attire coverage. This coverage can provide coverage if a wedding gown, a tuxedo, or some other attire in the wedding party is lost or damaged. An example would be if you're traveling to your destination for your wedding and the airline loses your attire, this coverage can reimburse you for replacement of or equal value of your items. Next, jewelry coverage. Jewelry coverage can provide coverage if an honoree's wedding band is lost or damaged. For example, if a member of the wedding party loses a ring the night before the wedding, this coverage can reimburse you for the new rings. Next, coverage for lost deposits. Lost deposits can provide coverage if a vendor goes out of business, declares bankruptcy before your wedding, or simply fails to show up. For example, if your band or limo provider fails to show up, this coverage can reimburse you for lost deposits. Very important is liability insurance. Liability insurance can provide coverage for liability for property damage and personal injuries to third parties at the location of your event. For example, if a guest slips and falls at your wedding, we can provide coverage for your liability. Very important is liquor liability coverage. This is optional wedding day coverage that can protect you against on-premises alcohol-related accidents that can result in your liability. Liquor liability coverage is available up to the liability limit on the policy. Liability coverage must be purchased to acquire this additional wedding coverage. How much does wedding insurance cost? We have all different types of coverages so we can find you the complete coverage at a reasonable price. Expect to spend between $150 and $600 for the insurance policy depending on the amount of coverage you want. We will shop the best pricing for you to make sure you're receiving the best price. Do you really need this wedding insurance if it's going to cost $150 to $600 for the event? Before buying wedding insurance, check with each of your vendors to see what type of insurance coverage they have. It's very important. Oftentimes, reception venues and caterers may also already have their own insurance, what can be a benefit to you. If they do have insurance, ask for a copy of their insurance and then send it to us and we can figure out where you might need additional coverage. If the venue doesn't have its own insurance, especially liability insurance is a must and most likely will be required to even rent the facilities. You want to be covered just in case any accidents happen at your wedding, especially if you have alcohol in the event. Cancellation insurance is always a good idea in general because you never know when the least expected will happen, especially if you're planning a destination wedding. How soon should you purchase a wedding insurance policy? The sooner the better. If you put a deposit down in a reception venue 12 months prior to your wedding date and it burns down before the big day, with the insurance, you will be able to get your deposit back. Here are some things to consider. Every insurance policy and wedding is different. At Professional Insurance Strategies, we will explain to you the ins and outs to you so you fully understand every detail of your policy. Thanks for taking the time to watch our video and learn about wedding insurance. Remember, we specialize in helping couples like you take the guesswork out of insurance and hopefully have a less stressful day on your wedding day. Congratulations.